Well, today I'm heading out to Wasioja, Minnesota. Gonna see if I can figure out where that depot was. But first, we're in Manorville, Minnesota. I'm stopping at the Dodge County Historical Society. That's that building behind me. I have to do just a little more research before I go out there, so I'll catch up to you a little later. So this is Route 7 in Dodge County. That's the Zumbro River. You have to remember the railroad was kind of following the river. And right over here is where I believe was the railroad cut. Right in there, that swell. You see it? Naturally, this road's been built up and the farmer took his field back. But yeah, that's where I believe it is when I look at the maps. And if I go across the street here, there's a little road here. Now, I see a private property sign over there on that tree. So I'm not going to go back in there, but you know what? And I'm wondering if this couldn't be the rail bed right here. Just because of the way it's shaped. So I'm going to say this is probably the old rail bed. And coming around again. There's that swell again. Right there. Now, I believe it was this. I believe that's a cutout right there. I totally believe that. Let me walk across the street. Get a better angle at this. Right there. Right there. You can see a creek here, right in here off the road. And once again, I'll put a map up of where I'm standing so you can see. Okay, there's the rail bed. See it back there? So I made my way closer to Wasioja, and this is Shadow. And you know, I saw that railroad bed I showed you just a few minutes ago from the street, but all the trees were in the way, and I thought, I'm gonna knock on this house, and this is Shadow, and he gave me permission to go on his property. So what you see next is pretty cool stuff, and you gotta thank Shadow for that. Okay, so this is actually his neighbor's property. I'm standing on his property, but that's his neighbor's property. But there you go. You can see the railroad bed. There it is. And this was a creek here. And there's a culvert, an old culvert down there. There you go. Is that cool? That's a stone culvert. And it's been flooded back in here, and a lot of this rail bed was washed out, but the culvert's still there. Now that goes back to 1900. That's spring of 1899 is when they started building this railroad. So this is pretty cool. Look at, there's actually steps. There's steps that I can take here. See that? I got steps to get on the top of the railroad bed here. So this is the railroad bed. Right here. And that culvert I just showed you would be right over there. But it's kind of like a jungle and there's a down tree there, so I'm not going to go any further, but I'll give you a look here. There's the river. See how close to the river we are? Right down there. And the railroad bed here starts on his property, and then it ends up on someone else's property. And it just so happens that that someone else I met the other day, might call it fate, at the Historical Society that owns that piece of property, and I've got permission to go over there, so I'm going to walk the top of this in that direction. Now check out that bridge over there. That's a road bridge. But gee, I can tell just by looking at those steel supports, that goes back a ways, you know. And I think right about now is when we're going to transfer over to that other homeowner's property. And there's a culvert down in there too. And we're going to go see that next. Here's where it's cut off, you see that? And then the street's over there, and this is a good place for me to do my thing, okay? This is when I show you the railroad bed. That's the direction we're coming from. Okay? I'm gonna swing around. My wife always says I do this too quick and make everybody dizzy. Okay. This is it right here. It's going out in this direction. Where's that stick? Okay, it's going out in this direction. Right here, that tree's in the way. That's my railroad bed right there. So there's your railroad bed. We were out there near the street. I followed it back a little bit further. And this is a creek bed right here. I'll bet that goes way back. That could be the original stone culvert for this. Isn't that neat? This is history that someday will probably be just torn out of here. You know? Okay. There's where we were back in there when I showed you the culvert that's collapsing. I'm not going to walk in there though. See the stone? This is so awesome, this history. I thought I'd give you a better look at that bridge. Just because it's history. All right, just a fast look at this creamery. Okay, all right. Now I could live there. Yes, I could live there. I love this setting. It's a gravel road. I moved out on the road. There's our rail bed. There's the creamery I showed you. And the railroad's gonna go right down in this notch right here. Right like so. That's our railroad bed. Right down in there. So if I just kind of move the camera, See that building over there? That goes way back. That was actually a recruiting station during the Civil War. So this is that recruiting station I was showing you. You can stop this and read this if you want to. I'm glad I came out here today because I'm hitting it lucky. I just talked to this homeowner. He owns this house. He told me the abstract of this property is as long as your arm. Yeah, this goes back. This is one of the original houses in this area. And this was a farm, okay? So all of the land that you see around here back then was part of his farm, and there was 200 acres here. So we know the railroad went through his property, this fellow's property that owned this back then in the 1900s. So I think this house is in a photo. So I'm going to walk around the other side and then I'll show you. I'll plug that photo in, okay? All right, it's kind of hard for me to line myself up right here, but you can't really see the bed, but it's out in that direction right there. Okay, I'm going to turn around. And that house, you have to keep in mind, has a lot of additions on it that probably happened through the years, but we're talking about that main section of the house. Okay? And this clump of trees is where our rail bed is. And our railroad depot was probably right about there. Right about there is our depot. Right next to the tracks. And these were 2 tracks side by side. And remember, the street here is just all built up. And it's going to start going up a hill as it goes out behind the seminary. So there's going to be a railroad cut that starts. So there's the street. And I'm standing in a fellow's yard now. You know, and that's where the depot, that's where it had to be, right about there. Right about there. That's so cool. And remember, all this was changed, and there were 2 tracks running through here. Okay, here's today. Here's our house. You see the additions. Those additions weren't there at this time. This is probably 1933, circa 1933 in this photo. You can tell by the clothing that the ladies are wearing. Okay, this is our depot. Right here with that house in the background. That's it right there. Okay, this time I'm standing on 211th Avenue. So I've moved, and you can see over here where I said the depot was at one time. See that building over there? That's about where that depot was. And you have to understand that a lot of this ground's been filled in this area. It's not original to what it was years ago. So I'm going to just walk up this road a little bit and line myself up here, because right here Right here is a railroad cut. You can see it right here. See the ground? That's a railroad cut right there. That's where our railroad came through. It's coming off of a hill. It's going, you know, to a lower section. So what they did was they cut through the hill rather than, you know, go up on top of it. They're trying to keep it as level as they can. So that's a railroad cut there. Now I'm going to line up with this cut. Walking backwards. I hope I don't fall. I'm surprised my wife's not yelling at me right now. Yeah. Okay, here we go. This is the other side of the street. And you can see the hill. And this is our railroad cut down in here. I know it's hard to see, but it's there. If you look to the trees up there, that's where the old seminary was. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going there next. I want to see if I can see it from behind the seminary. This is it here. That's our railroad cut back in there. You can see how high up the ground is over here on this side. That's it. Now railroad's going to go down in there. That's our railroad going down around that way. So this is the seminary. I don't know if you saw that from where we were. We were down over in that direction on that street. You can see how the ground is going down. We're on a hill here. And I'm walking to the back of the lot. And you can see this marker here. There's a survey marker right there. So there's your cut down in that section right there. That's your railroad cut. I know it's hard to see. We were over there by the road. And that's the cut going through here. Follow in that direction there. I just love history like this too. Diane's over here reading about it. Tell you what, I'll let you read about the seminary. How's that? I've done a lot of things here. I've done a lot of things at the seminary, and never even knew about the railroad because it was back in a time where everything was Civil War for me. I've been to a lot of Memorial Days here. We always have trouble when I'm gonna have my wife with me in my intro, you know, because hello, yeah. I gotta make sure she's in the picture too. And if I put her face in, then you don't see me, and if you see me, you don't see her, so I have to line it up like that. I'll put my arm around her. How's that? Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love it when you all come with me. It makes it all worthwhile. Hope you had a good time. I'll see you on my next one. God bless you all.